Hey guys, it's West Ham United follower here and welcome to the first video on this channel, and today this video will be the West Ham United 2015/2016 player ratings. So we'll be going through the goalkeepers, the wing backs, the centre backs, the defensive and attacking midfielders, and also the strikers, analyse how well they've been played and give them a rating separately on how well they performed really. So if you enjoy this video coming up, be sure to subscribe, and we'll be first looking at the goalkeepers. First with the goalkeepers, Adrian gets an 8 out of 10 for his performances in the 2015-2016 season, and Randolph gets a 6 out of 10. I gave Adrian an 8 out of 10 because by looking, he's made 70 appearances and he's had 17 clean sheets, which isn't that bad. And I believe he did make a lot of saves, which gained us points and helped us go up to the table and finish 7th, really. So, in the league, he got 32 appearances and got 9 clean sheets, so that seems a lot better. And that's why I've given him that 8 out of 10. He's made 95 saves, which is a lot, some good clearances this season. Now, going on to Dan Randolph, I gave him a 6 out of 10. Just because, of course, he didn't play as many games as Adrian. He only played 6 in the Premier League and he played some more in the FA Cup. But just because his clean sheets are only 2, and looking at some of the performances he had near the end of the season against Stoke and the other games like Swansea, he wasn't that good in them games. That's why he would have been about a 7 out of 10 before then. I lowered him down to a 6. Now moving on to the fullbacks, I gave Sam Byram a 6 out of 10. I gave Sam Byram a 6 out of 10 just because he didn't play that many games for us, because mainly he was meant to be playing instead of Antonio, but he was cup tied and he was playing in the under-21s team quite a fair amount of time. So that's why he's got a 6 out of 10. Couldn't really evaluate him any better. Then moving on to Antonio, gave him 9 out of 10. What a season he had, having to fill for Carl Jensen getting injured in the low knee, so he played in that right wing back position fair amount of time. When he was playing near up front in that right mid position as well, he was scoring goals, applying goals, lots of headers, so that's why I gave him that 9 out of 10. Gave us lots of results thanks to him. And moving swiftly on, finally, to Aaron Cresswell, gave him an 8 out of 10. He had a fantastic season as well. What he did was he bombed down the wing, supplied some really good crackers if you did watch the matches, and he supplied lots of goals as well. Now, moving on to the centre-backs, we're going to start off with James Tomkins. Gave him a 6 out of 10. He didn't play that many games, surprisingly, just because of the other two, Reed Ogbonna, not really picking up any knocks, and he wasn't able to force into the team. He got the 6 out of 10 because he still played okay. He didn't have that many games to show us that he could have maybe moved on to a 7. I'm not sure. But now we've got Winston Reid. Could have had an 8 out of 10. I'd normally give him an 8 out of 10. He's a very good player. Did have the best of seasons this time. I believe his counterpart Ogbonna did have a slightly better season. So Reid's got a 7. He still played well, made quite a few mistakes sometimes, not clearing the ball in the last minutes to the other team to score. He did that, I think, twice this season. And then moving on to Ogbonna, he got that 8 out of 10, like I said. He played very well, making some last-ditch tackles, like in the last game against Stoke. Fantastically timed tackles as well. Had that occasion with Jamie Vardy falling over. He made a very good tackle there. But now finally moving on to James Collins, he got a 6 out of 10. He played very well when he was actually playing, just that he had even less games than James Tomkins, so I could only give him a 6 out of 10. If he couldn't really force himself into the team, of course, so that's why I didn't give him any higher rating. Now we look at the centre mids, or you could say some centre defensive mids, but Alex Song, the no-knee from Barcelona, 2 years in a row, he got a 6 out of 10. I think there was a clause that if he played a certain amount of games, we'd really have to sign him. That was just rumours, that's why I think they weren't playing him for that many times, but I gave him a 6 out of 10 because he was a good pass from the ball. but he didn't really get any games to make him get quite a decent 7 rating. Now moving on to Kouyaté, had an absolutely fantastic season, causing teams like Tottenham to bid for him, but we turned it down obviously. He got that 9 out of 10 because he was a fantastic passer, made some good tackles, some poor ones to gain free kicks, and he got sent off twice, which weren't actually red cards, they got rescinded, which was a shame for him. And he could have got into the team of the season quite easily, didn't though. And now we move on to Obiang, Pedro Obiang. Gave him that 7 out of 10. Didn't play that many games, played a couple, but when he plays he looked very good, so that's why I gave him a 7 out of 10. He is a very technically gifted player, and I think next season we should give him more game time, maybe in the qualifiers of the Europa League. And finally, in the midfielders, we've got Mark Noble. He had a very good season. Could have and should have got onto Roy's plane to the Euros. He didn't, sadly, though. But he was very committed in midfield, fighted against the referee's decisions when they were wrong, and had some good goals, good tackles, and he's a gifted passer. So that's why I gave him an 8 out of 10. And overall, Kouyaté does win in the central midfielders. Now moving on to the attacking midfielders, we start off with Victor Moses. He is a very good player, that's why he has a contract under Chelsea Football Club. But I gave him 5 out of 10 just because he got one goal, which was a decent goal, but he was lacklustre, didn't perform that well in all the other games he played for us. Now moving on to the main player, we've got Payet, Emre Can. Gave him 9.5 just because he couldn't have that messy kind of 10 out of 10 season, but was absolutely fantastic. Free kicks from very far out going in, tons of assists, tons of goals, technically gifted at passing as well. That's why he got that 9.5 that he really did deserve. That's why as also he was in the team of the season. The only West Ham player to get into the team of the season, you could argue Kouyaté and Antonio, or even maybe Aaron Cresswell, could have got into the team of the season. Finally, in the attacking midfielders, we look at Manuel Lanzini. I gave Manuel Lanzini an 8 out of 10, nearly got that 9 out of 10. He was fantastic when he played for us, very technically gifted player, of course, can dribble absolutely fantastically, did that a fair few times in the league, scored some fantastic finessed goals in the league as well, which helped us get nearly up to that 6th place that Southampton took from us on the last day. But he definitely did deserve that 8 out of 10. Could have had 9 out of 10 if he made a couple more of them amazing performances he normally had. To conclude this West Ham United 2016/2016 series, we'll look at the strikers, which mixed emotions just because the fact that lots of people said if we had that out and out striker like Lacazette who we're looking at, we could have got Champions League football. But we'll start off with Emmanuel Emenike. I gave him a 6 out of 10. This is because I believe he played okay for all them performances he played in, all them appearances, but he didn't score that many goals. Only I think them 2 goals against Blackburn, should have got that hat-trick, and that open goal miss against Stoke that he missed sums up his performance this season. He was okay. Don't think we're going to keep him from Fenerbahce, make the deal permanent, but he has an okay season. Definitely wanted to have more from him at the start of the season or when he actually signed. Now moving on to Enner Valencia, gave him a 6 out of 10. He was absolutely decent, quite decent actually, the season before when he scored that cracker against Hull and made a few good performances as well and performed well in the World Cup. But this season he wasn't that good really. He missed the open goal again like Emenike against Stoke. People say that the sun was in his eyes, but he was like a metre out, so I believe he should have scored that really. And yeah, he just didn't look really up for every game. He looked like he was a bit sluggish up front. His shots weren't that amazing. And now moving on to Diafra Sakho. Sorry, he got a 7 out of 10 from me. The reason for this is he played better than Enner Valencia, but I believe he still wasn't that amazing. Expected better because I believe he's a very good player. But he did get injured in the season and scored a fair few goals. So that's why he got a 7 out of 10. Didn't really look like he'd push for an 8 out of 10. Finally, we move on to Andy Carroll. He gave him a 7 out of 10, could have got an 8 out of 10. He had some fantastic performances, like that hat-trick against Arsenal, some other good goals. He had that injury that we had to wait for him to come back again, but he's Mr. Inconsistent for me. He looked very likely he could go to the Euros after that performance against Arsenal, but it kind of slowed down when the season progressed. So overall, this season it's been a very good season for West Ham. We finished in 7th. Really was looking for at least a top 5, but the final performances except the Man United game didn't really go our way, which was Stoke and Swansea. But the goalkeepers, Adrian mainly, was really good. Then we look at the fullbacks. Antonio Cresswell were very, very good. Last year, before that, our fullbacks weren't that good, with like Guy Demel and Benny McCarthy, I think. Sorry, not Benny McCarthy, George McCartney. Yeah, so it was definitely a better season for our fullbacks. And then the centre backs was very good with Reed and Ogbonna. Not too much to complain. Maybe Reed was not as good as he could have been. Finally, the central midfielders as well. Mark Noble and Kouyaté were the standouts. Obiang and Alex Song didn't play that many times, so we couldn't assess them that well. The attacking midfielders was, of course, Dimitri Payet, the main man for West Ham at the moment. With Lanzini, had a very good season as well. And the strikers, I'd say Andy Carroll and Sakho were the standout strikers if we had to compare them. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're looking forward to the Olympic Stadium for more news, videos about West Ham, gaming videos about West Ham, be sure to subscribe and I'll catch you next time. See ya.